This video is extremely difficult to title because there are 5 updates coming in the future, but will those updates actually become real is a hard question. They were promised or told to me by Riot devs, but they could back up, they could cancel, so it could be called like 5 canceled features, but at the same time, one of them is definitely coming even though it's ambiguous into when its full release will happen. So I'm just going to dive into it and give you a little bit of context. Some of these you've definitely never heard about because I talked about them 2 years ago on my Valorant Curious channel, not on this channel, and I think that video feels a little bit outdated, so I want to retouch up on them. I don't know if the title will have featuring developers. If it does, it's not developers right now. It's a conversation I had with the 2 lead skin developers 2 years ago, and I want to touch up on if anything they told me actually did happen, starting with the first one, which is a skin customizer. Now, when I was talking to the 2 leads when it came to the skin team, the idea of a skin customizer was played around with a lot. Now, even conceptually, I talked about like putting stickers or actually customizing the color of a gun as an overlay, like full customization. And the problem with that is they told me at the time, anything that takes memory bandwidth from the servers, anything, even a little bit, even like a few megabytes would not happen. The thing is that I know I complain about Riot's prices and stuff. They still do put competitive integrity first. That's just the truth. As of right now, they still hold that true. So if anything would lag out the servers at all, they decide not to do it. Now, since then, there are a couple things that has happened, like crazier effects, crazier finishers. But that's why they are finishers, because they can take more memory bandwidth at the end of a round after a round is done, while having customized skins in the game as you're playing would be a lot more aggressive continuously. So for that reason, pure customization would not happen. However, at the time, we talked about a couple things that didn't exist before. One of them would be skin customization based off attacker and defender, meaning I could have an attacker-based loadout, maybe a blue collection, and a defender-based loadout, maybe a red collection, that would swap once it swaps sides. Now, the thing is, it's hard to say if that would be a memory bandwidth issue because all the loading would be between the halves before the game actually starts. So I genuinely believe this is something that should be able to happen. And with that being said, they actually kind of monetize this feature with this collection here, where it swaps skins depending on what side. So you have to pay for that feature, and I think we're going to see this feature in future paid skins. I'm not going to lie, like dual variants that happen based off of which side you're on, I don't think this is the last time we're going to see this little trick. It is a little bit sad to see that it became a paid feature instead of something that just happened publicly, but I wouldn't rule out the opportunity. However, I don't think it's completely on them, right? The skin team doesn't have full control over Valorant. That's not even close because at the time, this dude spitballed an amazing idea that we haven't seen yet, and I do hope it happens. It's been 2 years, so maybe I'm just being too hopeful, but the idea is so cool. And that was the mention of agent-specific loadouts, meaning I could click, let's say, Yoru, go to skins, and then select a full blue collection for my Yoru player. For my Yoru selection. Then I could go to Jet, change it up, go to Sova, change it up, go to Phoenix, change it up, and each agent would load a different skin collection once you lock them in. This is insanely smart and actually promotes people owning more skins because the randomizer did help at the time of that interview. Randomizing was not a thing, and I talked about it and they said it would be a thing, and it took some time, but it did happen. It did eventually happen. So I wonder if logistically speaking, stuff like this is still possible, because if you think about it, this doesn't need to be something locked behind a certain paywall or skin because it promotes people buying more. If I want a specific loadout per agent, even just a Vandal Phantom Knife loadout per agent, then it's going to promote me to buy more skins just to color theme them possibly. And that is really good because I completely gave up on color theming after all I could do is just star them. Like I could star all my reds and then star all my blue, but then they would just mix and match randomly. It wouldn't be a full blue or full red collection. So with that being said, this part is something I want to see. I want to see more customizations, and I hope that the art team's ideas here do come to life, even if it's already been 2 years. But the problem is we have other stuff. Like the second update is the replay system. I'm not going to touch on it too much because I have in the past and I don't want to bore you, but we all know the replay system would help a lot. However, with that being said, there's a polar opposite side that is not understanding why we all want a replay system, saying that it doesn't do much for the game. Listen, outside of being a content creator, which means I can go back and see plays from different angles, get new cool B-roll footage, or try some other fun little things, outside of that, completely outside of that, there is one other thing, which is just self-improvement. Instead of recording, having it built in so you can watch back and self-improve. Listen, I am not into the full competitive side of Valorant, not even close. Like, you see my gameplay, I'm just having fun. I just play death matches, I just play with my stream, and I just enjoy the game. If I play ranked, I don't care if I win or lose. I completely gave up on all that. Yet still, I'm not oblivious to the fact that Valorant is competitive first. So a replay system is a no-brainer. But my problem here is that they all said, yep, a replay system is coming. And then as resources maybe started getting dumped into it, they said that right now they stopped and there's no plans of it. So this is why it's hard to title this video, because to me, it's impossible to see a world where a replay system does not happen. That's the truth, right? Like even League of Legends has one. Like the odds of no replay system makes no sense. So all I'm hoping is that this is not a canceled feature, but more so Riot came out and said that after realizing this is going to take way longer than expected. So they'd prefer to completely kill the hype, even if it creates anger, and just drop it like a bomb when it's ready. I don't even think they're going to announce it. Like they won't say anything until it's ready because of all the backlash they got about saying something too early. I think that's what happened. I genuinely don't see a world where Valorant never gets a replay system, because that is mind-bogglingly stupid. Does it? Zero sense. Zero sense. I think most of you can agree. How long will it take though? 1 more, 2 more, 3, 4 more years? That is up for debate. That I don't know. Genuinely. That I don't know. However, with that being said, something else that came from a interview with the devs that I had, I was in a call. I was never allowed to record them, so I guess I don't have proof. So if you want to say cap, maybe, but at the same time, if I went back and asked them, they're not going to say that it didn't happen, because it's nothing huge. It's nothing huge. I was not allowed to record or showcase anything directly, but they did give me permission to relay information. They didn't tell me not to like leak or say anything. They told me I can relay. And one of those things back then, 2 years ago, was that gifting was planned. And at the time, it was planned soon TM. And what I mean by that is literally they meant that it would be up on the horizon at the time of the interview. I think it was like supposed to be that holiday season, and then it never came. I'm like, oh, okay, it'll probably come next holiday season. But after that didn't happen, I got very confused. I thought it was completely canceled, but I could not get more information out of them after that. They didn't tell me it was not coming, right? Unlike the replay system, they didn't just say no plans of it or anything, at least as far as I remember, unless I'm mistaken. If anyone knows there was an article or something, let me know. I don't also see a gifting system not happening. The only reason I believe it got delayed was because after starting to put resources into it, I believe, genuinely, it's gonna sound bad if I'm wrong, it's something to do with greed. I think it's because their shop system is quite profitable on the 4 rotating guns, and they don't want people to make like 30 accounts just to have 30 chances of getting a good skin and then gifting themselves. I genuinely believe that's the case. Deep down, I genuinely believe it's because they don't want people exploiting the shop system. It's going to sound bad if I'm wrong, and if any Rioter ever watches my video and thinks I'm right here, I think I'm right here. I'm not going to lie. I think I'm right here. It's something to do with the monetary side of things. Now, there is a simple solution, but it also does mean they're outright admitting it, which is to just make SMS verification needed, because it would create a huge barrier. Some people can still get past it. I know how to as well. And no, it's not just VoIP. It's easy to ban VoIP. People are so funny when they say just use Google numbers. Companies know how to ban VoIP. I promise you. I promise you. There are tons of institutions that can just recognize a VoIP number, ping it back, and it won't go through. It's not that complicated for them, I promise. Instead, they can ban VoIP, but still need real numbers that would get pinged, and it would reduce the abuse a lot. But I just wonder, maybe it's not a good look for them if you have to have SMS verification. But I also think most people do genuinely, from the bottom of their heart, just want to gift people that they like, their friends. They get their favorite skin. It's really hype. And if you have a big group of friends, to be honest with you, you are just going to get more sales. At that point, if it's just 5 people, one is waiting for a certain gun and they can check each other's shop, no offense, you are incentivizing now 5 players to all open up Valorant and check their shop. that is a net W. Keep in mind, in a business, let's say it is a real shop, your only goal is to get some foot traffic and then convert. And gifting system on a real level with SMS verification would bring some good foot traffic. Also ignore that deadlock fight. It never happened, okay? And moving on from there, I think gifting is important. Hopefully it one day comes. Next thing to touch on, this is rapid fire though. So 4 is rapid fire, is seasonal skins. This is really weird because Riot made an attempt, right, with the seasonal skins, like the winter skins and stuff. And then they sort of disappeared. Like they missed Halloween, then they added the Scythe late. I'm not going to re-say it again. We all know seasonal skins just don't really exist outside the Chinese holidays. You know, say as you will. We know who owns Riot Games. It's a little bit weird, but it is what it is. I'm not going to go freaking conspiracy mode. That's not my job. But with that being said, I do know that the skin team does have seasonal ideas because back during the interview, they took criticism to their heart. By the way, they're human, and I remember when all their winter skins were criticized, they took it to heart, and that's actually why we eventually got Cryo Status, which is a winter theme skin that came out during just the season instead of the holiday, just the general winter season, and that's pretty good. But then they've sort of taken a back seat. I do believe this should shift in the future, but I also believe that the skin team's not the ones that are in full control when it comes to that, but I cannot confirm nor deny that, and I don't think anyone's going to tell me how their job works on the inside, but I do hope seasonal skins make some form of comeback. Last but not least is Valorant mobile and console. Both were announced simultaneously. Anyways, both were announced together, and mobile has come a long way. There has been a lot of leaks. There's been a lot of footage. There's been a lot of things shown. Just straight up that we know it's coming. It's on the horizon. It won't be crossplay. There's zero chance. I would love it to be open custom-wise, just so I can like bring 5 PC players and 5 mobile players into one lobby, but the odds of that are zero because they're probably going to be different platform and server based, not just the game ported. Not like Fortnite. Fortnite is pretty much legendary in that sense of like just being able to crossplay and everything just feels the same everywhere. I don't think many people can match that, and I don't think this will be an exception. I think this will be a customized, different version of the game, even in how some of the abilities work, some of the timing, some of the balancing. And why do I say that? Because League of Legends has a mobile version called Wild Rift, and it is almost a different game even in pacing and how it plays. I assume mobile will be first to 6 rounds or something, or 8 rounds, even for ranked. I don't think it'll be a 12-round game because they're going to want to reduce the amount of time since they want people to be able to pull out their phone and play like during school, 30 minutes, one session. They don't want it to be like 45 to 1 hour. So I'm guaranteeing that it's going to be a completely different game. I'm betting my money on that. When it comes to the console, though, that went completely silent. And I do think that the console version of the game might come out quite later compared to the mobile, and that I have no idea. Rainbow Six, for example, has the console and PC side by side, Overwatch as well. I don't know if Valorant wants to build some sort of console build up. It is a market that they could tap, right? Like Counter-Strike never tapped that market. So it is an untapped market for them. And it is something that they should work hard on, and maybe even crossplay, just don't allow it during ranked. You know what I mean? Like don't let them ranked crossplay, but just having friends be able to crossplay would go a long way in building the community, especially the casual side of things. So those two definitely should be on the horizon. But out of all these 5, which are all over the place, let me know if you're excited for any of them. I really just want the skin customizer and replay system and gifting. Those 3 are my most important, but seasonal skins not as important. And then this completely new platforms for Valorant, if it helps the game's longevity and the player base, I'm all for it. Overall, it's supposed to be a positive video, but it's also a hopeful video because it's all dependent on if all this is just a yapathon or what was once told to me becomes a reality.